Fam, hope you guys are doing fantastic tonight. Hope everybody is having a great weekend. Hope you guys are ready for another live 2025 fantasy football draft. Hopping into some Underdog fantasy drafts tonight. Going to be going for some heavy wide receiver builds. Last weekend, we did heavy running back builds. Messed around with that quote-unquote strategy. And tonight, we'll be hopping into the opposite strategy. As I said, going heavy wide receiver tonight. So, hope you guys are doing fantastic. Make sure you guys hop in the live chat. Let me know what's going on. Let me know how you guys are doing. Any fantasy football questions that you guys have, redraft dynasty or best ball, get those going as well. And we're going to have some fun tonight. We're going to talk some fantasy football per usual. So I'll give it a minute or two and we'll just kind of get set up here. See if any of you guys do want to hop in. I think I'm going to enter... I guess I'm going to enter Best Ball Mania tonight. Yeah, I'm going to hop into Best Ball Mania. I mean, I've been trying to limit my Best Ball Mania entries until like August time, but I think I'm good now. I think we can get a couple in here before August time, and I'll still feel pretty good about it. So, like I said, hope you guys are doing fantastic. And it's Saturday night. You know what it is. We're going to have some fun going to throw together some incredible 2025 fantasy football teams. So, sorry. I am streaming on Streamlabs Ultra tonight, so I will be kind of playing around with the setup tonight. It's been a while since I've used Streamlabs Ultra, and this does allow us to also stream to multiple platforms at once, so that is cool. But also, I do like using Streamlabs Ultra on top of that from time to time, especially for best ball drafts, but just understand that I might be playing around with that as well. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and enter a Best Ball Mania tournament. And let's get it going, boys and girls. All right, 2 spots, 20 seconds per pick. And Underdog also changed their layout, which is interesting. See how that shakes out as well. So, 2 spots open. I'm surprised that this is not filled as is. 1 spot open. Get it going, boys and girls. All right, we do have a little bit of fantasy news to talk about with Christian Jenkins of the Cleveland Browns being arrested for domestic violence charges tonight. So we'll see how that shakes out. But maybe, I mean, a lot of people are pretty high on Jenkins as well. So I think that will change. What is up with this layout? I don't hate it. But it's, I don't know. It's so different. It's not that different, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this yet. How long has this been going on Underdog here? There's nothing wrong with it. It's just different. I don't always like different. So we'll see how it shakes out here. All right, where am I drafting from? Okay, good. The 1-9, because I do want to go heavy wide receiver tonight. So I was hoping that I would be drafting from, you know, one of these later spots and not an earlier spot. Don't see any names that I recognize here. So don't worry, we will be hopping into a second draft after this one. So you guys do want to draft with me, there's still time tonight. All right. Mitchell, what's going on? See you in the chat. Hope you're doing fantastic tonight. All right, so drafting from the 1-9 going wide receiver heavy. There's so many good options at wide receiver here. No matter how you shake it, you're going away from the first round with an absolute stud. CeeDee Lamb, Puka Nacua, Malik Neighbors, Nico Collins, Amon-Ra, B-Tom, Drake London, A.J. Brown, Lad McConkey. I mean, you're going to get one of those guys, and then you have a very good shot at pick 16 also getting one of those guys. And that's why I really like picks 10, 11, and 12, probably more than the 1, 9, because, once again, you're basically guaranteed, especially at pick 11 or 12, to get two of those wide receivers, start your draft, two absolute studs. And there's still good running backs there. Ashton Genty, Derrick Henry, Devon Achane. But, yeah, it's... I'm going to go Malik Neighbors. I don't mind Puka Nacua here as well. I don't think I'll land Brian Thomas Jr. unless something miraculous happens. Like I said, some of those running backs are really gaining some steam here. So there's a possibility. But my dream start to draft right now is Neighbors and Brian Thomas, or Neighbors and Nico. But once again, all these other receivers, Puka Nacua, Amon-Ra, even Drake London, A.J. Brown, Lad McConkey, I feel very good about. So we know we're going wide receiver at picks 16, 33, and 40 as well. There goes B-Tom at the 112. All wide receivers to wrap up the first round. So now we're looking at Drake London, A.J. Brown, or Lad McConkey. I'm good with any of these guys right here. Pretty easy pick. I'll go Drake London just to kind of switch up exposure. I feel like I've been getting quite a bit of exposure to A.J. Brown. I also like Lad McConkey there. But I do like Drake London as much as the next guy. So, boom. All right, getting the poll set up on YouTube as well. Yeah, I'll be messing around with the layout just a little bit tonight. Once again, switching over to Streamlabs Ultra for Underdog streams. So, might be playing with it just a little bit. So right now, I feel like I look like kind of distorted almost. I guess I could move myself up here at the top. Move the chat. I know the chat doesn't show up super big for you guys. I don't know. I'll just move it around based on the draft board. Also, getting used to the new Underdog layout. I'm not used to that at all. So, but as long as you guys can see the draft board, I'm not super worried about anything else. Scott, what's going on? Good to see you, bro. Yeah, no Genty. I do think that Genty is realistic at the 2-4. You really look at that tier of players. Tyreek Hill going at the 2-5, interesting there, before Brown and McConkey. I'm starting to see Hill creep back up, but Achane, Henry, Genty, Lundo, Brown, McConkey, even B-Tom, you can see any of those players. The end of the first round bleeding into the mid-second round is completely, it's just open right now. Absolutely open. But yeah, I like Drake London a lot there as well. And we're going 4 wide receivers in a row to start tonight's draft. Already know. So we have picks 33 and 40. So I'd love to get JSN at pick 33. And then pick 40 is kind of interesting because we're a little bit against ADP. Ted McMillan is at an ADP of 40.6. Then we're bleeding into DJ Moore, Metcalf, Worthy. I don't mind, quote-unquote, reaching for J-Mo or Devonta Smith, quite frankly. Once again, running backs are against ADP. Cook, 43.1. Omarion Hampton, 43.2. There are running backs with an ADP in the 50s on Underdog that I like, but I think JSN is our top target. I don't know if he's going to last. Top available players are McBride, Devontae Adams, Scary Terry, Josh Allen, JSN, Lamar Jackson, Breece Hall, Kyron Williams, Jaden Daniels. So it's pretty out in the open right now. Scott likes the Neighbors London start. I like it quite a bit. Ooh, if Adams is here, that's going to be interesting. But I want to lean JSN here. I'm slightly higher on JSN than Devontae Adams. I think Adams is a good pick here, and he'd probably be good for the exposure. But I'm going JSN, sticking to my guns. So, yeah, I like that start a lot. Neighbors, Lundo, and JSN. Adams completely fine there if you prefer him there. Completely fine there. But, yeah, I feel good. Scott likes the picks. Yeah, both are very good picks there. All right, now we're moving into pick 40. I'm probably going to be a little bit against ADP. You look at this tier, so to speak, of wide receivers: Ted McMillan, DJ Moore, DK Metcalf, Xavier Worthy, Jamison Williams, Devonta Smith. You know what? I might go Ted McMillan if he's here. I'm okay with Worthy, JMO, or Devonta. Those are the players that I kind of prefer right here. But I think for exposure, I might go Ted McMillan. I don't think I've drafted Ted McMillan in a single draft yet. Just haven't really been in quite the position to do so. There goes Ted McMillan. So, yeah, I don't know. DJ Moore, DK Metcalf, I could see the volume being higher, but Worthy, JMO, Devonta, I think the upside's a little bit higher. I'm going to go Jamison Williams here. Devonta may be more of a floor play, but yeah, JMO gives us some nice upside there. We have a very good blend of consistency and a little splash of upside. So, yeah, I'm great. Good at that start in terms of going with a heavy wide receiver build. Like I said, last week's stream, we went heavy running back. And, yeah, I'm happy with that start. So now we're looking at picks 57 and 64. And then what do we have? Pick 81 and 88. I do want to get a tight end, like not too late in this draft, but we do need to target running backs with these next two picks. You could go 5 wide receiver if you want to get crazy here. There are some good names in that range, but I think this is a strong enough start that we don't need to. 57, 64. We're looking at like maybe Alvin Kamara. I will say if Kamara is there at 57, I would smash the draft button. But like Joe Mixon, James Conner, RJ Harvey, Trayvon Henderson, David Montgomery, Caleb Johnson, Quentin Junkins, DeAndre Swift. This is kind of a poor spot in terms of like late round running backs that I like. I mean, maybe at 81 we could get Pacheco. And Swift won't be there. Pollard, Aaron Jones, B-Rob, Jordan Mason, and then after that it starts to get a bit sketchy. So let's sit back here and kind of see what happens. There goes Chuba Hubbard. I'll say, Devonta Smith, there's some good wide receivers available right here. Devonta Smith, Cortland Sutton, Jalen Waddle, Travis Hunter, Zay Flowers, Calvin Ridley are atop of the board. So I won't be surprised here if we get a little run at the wide receiver position for the next couple picks. I also won't be surprised if Alvin Kamara or Joe Mixon, for that matter, are drafted here. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, this is a little bit of an iffy spot for me. Devonta Smith is great. This is a great pick for Philly special. He might be an Eagles fan, but Barkley, Hurts, and Smith, little stack there. He went kind of aggro running back. Both these teams in front of us have just one running back. Yeah, there goes James Conner, Joe Mixon. I won't be surprised if this team goes Kamara, but he goes Jalen Waddle, obviously going for that double Miami stack. So give me Kamara here. Perfectly happy with that selection. That is who we wanted. So now I feel a little bit better going into pick 64. If we were to reach against ADP, I just don't know who's going to be. I feel like I pick 81. I'm okay with Pollard as an RB2. Pick a shot on RJ Harvey here, but I'd rather just take a shot on like a late round J.K. Dobbins. Maybe go Laporta if he slides here. This is once again, there's some good players going at wide receiver too. But yeah, for me, I do like Jacoby Myers, but we're starting to reach against ADP a bit here. Could go Laporta. This is a bit against. This is 11 spots against ADP for Laporta, and I do kind of want to go tight end early in this draft. I'm going to go David Montgomery. Let's take Monty as our RB2. Let's see. Well, yeah, I mean, Scott, one of my guys always gets drafted. What did the Broncos trade for Kamara? They're not going to. They're not going to. They've already signed Dobbins in the offseason and, spent high draft capital on R.J. Harvey. I just don't see it happening unless we see a significant injury to Harvey and then, Dobbins gets banged up as well. I would say that would be a mid-season type trade. I'd be very surprised if it happened at this point in the offseason. All right, nice little start there. Yeah, I will say it was kind of enticing to go Laporta, and he's still sliding. I was looking at the wrong. Laporta's not against ADP. I'm sorry. I was looking at him as, I don't know what I was looking at. His ADP is 75.3. My bad. It is late over here. All right, so start here. Alvin Kamara, David Monty, Malik Neighbors, Drake Lundo, JSN, and J-Mo. So this might be a team that would benefit from Jared Goff, obviously, as well. Who has Amon-Ra? ZSU. He did go quarterback early. So we'll keep an eye on Goff. That'll allow us to go kind of later round quarterback, which I prefer to do anyways. All right, looking ahead to picks 81 and 88. Probably get a running back here. And then circle back around to wide receiver or tight end at pick 88. Going to try and shoot for J.K. Dobbins to be our running back 4. So after this next running back is gone, we'll take a break at the position. So that'll allow us. The tough thing is, I don't know if I can get Dobbins and Goff. I should be able to get Dobbins at 112. Maybe I could reach on Dobbins at 105 and then go Goff at 112. That's certainly an option. But Dobbins' ADP is 115. Goff's ADP is 118. But once again, that the drafter right in front of us could also be in a position to reach for Goff as he has Amon-Ra if he truly wants to get the stack. So with this next pick, I just want to go best available player. So yeah, as reported earlier, Quinton Junkins arrested 2 hours ago for domestic violence. So I wonder where if his ADP will drop tonight or not. Could be one of these things that just doesn't even get handled at the beginning of the season. All right, I love Jacoby Myers in this range. He is 10 spots against ADP. So I'm smashing the draft button on Jacoby Myers as our wide receiver 5. The only thing that I will point out here is that we now have 3 wide receivers with a week 8 bye week. So need to keep an eye on that. All right, I pick 88, want to go running back unless I were to go tight end, but tight end is a bit against ADP. We might be, just the way this is shaking out, might be going against that kind of quote-unquote early tight end pick. But I think there's some good guys that we could creep in at pick 129. We'll find out. So best player available here, it's either Tony Pollard or Brian Robinson at the running back position for me. I don't want to draft Quinton Junkins. I want to see how far he can fall. I will say, if I want to go tight end here, it's just 2 against ADP for me. 2 against ADP. So Quinton Junkins does go. Pollard, Brian Robinson, whoever you prefer, both fine here. I'll go Tony Pollard as our RB3. Pretty good start here, boys and girls. Kamara, Monty, Pollard, Neighbors, Lundo, JSN, J-Mo, Jacoby Myers. We knew we were going aggro wide receiver to start this draft. Scott says, I didn't think there was any possible truth to Johnny going to the Steelers, so don't listen to me. I mean, to be fair, that was one that I wasn't super in on that rumor as well. And it did certainly happen. I think probably the only blockbuster trade we will get this offseason, quote-unquote blockbuster. All right, moving into pick 105. and 112 in rounds 9 and 10. See what happens. All right, these are two selections that we have kind of mapped out here already. Like I said, I might have to reach for both players here. I don't know if it's tough here. I mean, we're pretty good at wide receiver. Myers was a big pick. And we're going to need to take some dart throws. They do not have week 8 bye weeks. Yeah, quarterback starting to go here. That's going to be the tough thing, too. If a quarterback falls around 105, like, I'm already reaching for Goff. Is the stack that important at this point? Probably not. What other stacks can we target? I mean, Neighbors, London, JSN, Myers. We have all late round quarterbacks in front of us. So if we were to take a single QB1 who we don't have a stack with yet, it's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. And once again, the stack is only beneficial in a best ball format. If this wasn't best ball, I wouldn't be feeling crazy here about reaching for the stack. But yeah, a lot of QBs gone there. There's no quarterbacks left for me that I want to take as a singular QB value. If Bo Nix or Fields, Purdy had fallen here, I'd be good with all those guys. So we're probably going to see if Mark Andrews or Evan Ingram are available with this pick 105. And there goes Jaylen Warren. Yeah, let's go Mark Andrews. And then it's either Dobbins or Goff with this next pick. We're only going to get one or the other. There's a very small chance that if Goff is not... Yeah, see, that's interesting. So he goes with the Diggs stack. This is a player I'm worried about. He's got pick 107 and 110. He's got Amon-Ra. Right now, me and him are the only guys really super enticed to draft Goff outside of maybe the Laporta drafter, but he took Burrow in the 6th. There goes Caleb Williams. That leaves Prescott and Goff, McCarthy, Herbie, Jordan Love as the top available quarterbacks. There is a chance that Goff falls against ADP to 129. I've seen crazier things happen. There goes Goff. Yep. See, that was my reasoning for reaching for Goff at 105. And when you guys are targeting stacks, sometimes you just have to. Could go Prescott with this next pick, but I think I'm just going to go Dobbins. I'm happy getting the tight end value right there in Mark Andrews, though. No beef with that whatsoever. All right, let's take Dobbins. That rounds out a solid enough running back room for now. I am high on Dobbins personally. So Kamara, Monty, Pollard, Dobbins, Neighbors, London, JSN, JMO, Myers, Mark Andrews. The nice thing with these wide receivers is something that I talk about a lot in best ball is, like, especially when you're drafting early wide receivers, if you can line those guys up with late round quarterback value, Daniel Jones, Anthony Richardson, Daniel Jones, neither of those guys on the Giants. Once again, my midnight brain is really kicking in tonight. But whoever you think the starter for the Giants is going to be, Russell Wilson, Jackson Dart, whatever, Michael Penix, Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, even Goff, who we missed on, the stacks are kind of feeding themselves here. So we definitely have the opportunity to draft any of those guys. We'll go to try to target Michael Penix. I had to take him at pick 136 based on his ADP of 142, though. Now, I just say take Geno Smith or Sam Darnold and call it wraps. But Geno and Darnold had the same bye week, so need to watch out for that. And we could take Russell Wilson super late if we wanted to. So picks 129 can really go whatever direction I want. We'll need some dart throws at wide receiver, and this is kind of a good area for that. Luther Burden, Christian Kirk, Kyle Williams, Hollywood Brown, Cedric Tillman, Quentin Johnston, Xavier Leggett, Plenty of names here. All right, 11th round approaching quickly. I will take David Njoku if he's available, pick 129, and wrap up the tight end position. There goes Rachaad White, who I like in this range. But I just don't know that he's going to be there. It looks like Najee Harris falling a little bit against ADP since, the fireworks incident, injured eye. There he goes at 124, but his ADP is 113. So I'm interested on that. All right, 3 spots here. I will be really happy with Njoku. There goes Njoku. That's a great value here. I could take Justin Herbert as a singular QB here with no stack. Let's see. Yeah, I could take Quentin Johnston on the turnaround. I don't think it's all over for Quentin Johnston. There goes Herbert anyways. I mean, Johnson had more involvement last year than he might think. All right, I'm probably going to take Christian Kirk. I do like Tajay Spears in this range. I also like Javonte Williams in this range if I wanted to get – that would be my final running back. But I think Kirko – let's go Kirko. We need some help at wide receiver. He comes in as our wide receiver 6. And he doesn't have a week 8 bye week. JSN, J-Mo, Jacoby Myers all on bye week in week 8. All right, yeah, I might just, I don't know. It's really close with Michael Penix. I could see if he falls against ADP. Right now it's T-Law, Stroud, Penix. But I feel like I'm probably just going to end up taking him. Most of these teams in front of us are relatively heavy at QB. Like there's nobody really incentivized to, unless they're going. Mooney's already gone. Where did Mooney go? Right, Mooney's got to be gone. I'm not going to find his name in time to figure out if this is worth pushing. Is Mooney caked up that much in ADP? I'm probably staring right at it. All right, 6 seconds. Where is Darnell Mooney? He's got to be in this range somewhere. Really? Okay. Like it's Javonte or Dalton Kincaid. I'm going to go Kincaid. I'm going to push Penix, which is going to be a mistake. And of course, yeah, bad decision because Andrews and Kincaid have the same bye week. It's not going to kill the team or anything, but Penix is basically essential. I don't want to say essential, but like the high upside stack here is Penix in London. Where is Donald? This is driving me crazy. This always happens. Judy, Jennings, Olave, Debo, Ridley, Godwin, Ayuk, Diggs, Myers. Okay, here's Mooney. Yeah, this team's going to go. I guarantee you this team, they only have one QB in Jalen Hurts. They're probably going to take Penix. He's got a Hurts stack. It would make a lot of sense to try and go Penix at 149. But outside of that, our team is looking great. I mean, there's a chance here that Penix falls, but I think that team's going to take him. I don't really see these teams. I mean, Purdy. Okay, well, never mind. Yeah, this team. Oh, he's got Bijan, so the correlation's there. I should have looked out for Bijan, too. All right, Penix is off the books. I knew there was big risk passing on him there. I feel like last year, and even the year before, was so much easier to push QBs. But it is what it is. The nice thing is, we still have 3 stacks we can target. We're going to need to draft one more tight end, though. We'll take a late round dart throw. But, yeah, we still have plenty of stacks. We're loaded at wide receiver, and running backs are good enough. That's all you really need in a heavy wide receiver build. Can the running backs be good enough? So we're hanging in there, boys and girls. Do you need to draft one more running back? And God, the running backs are bad. Austin Eckler is who I like in this range of running backs. Other than that, maybe like a Tank Bigsby is interesting. Maybe I'll go Tank Bigsby at 160. I feel like I get a lot of Austin Eckler. And who's a late round? Late round wide receiver. There's nobody that I can stack with. Like maybe Cam Ward and Alec A. Manor. I just don't know if it's worth it. I do have Tony Pollard on this team, though. Let's go Stafford. We're going to have some growing pains at quarterback on this team, so let's get Stafford off. Give us some stability weeks there. Sorry to whoever has... Yeah, this guy probably wanted Stafford. He's got Puka and one quarterback. Sorry, Torch Smoke. That's the name of the game. Yeah, he goes Bryce Young. But he's got Ted McMillan. That's actually a good... That's just as good of a pick. All right. 13th round wrapping up here. All right. Terry's asking half PPR Baker, AJ Brown, Terry McLaurin, Bijan, Chase Brown, Kraft, Kamara, benches Jennings, Etienne, Purdy, Pollard, Reed, Pickens, Dots. Let me break it down after this next draft pick. Looks pretty solid off the top of my head there. All right, can I get Darnold at one? I can definitely get Darnold. Darnold's ADP is 176.5. I pick 177. So it's Eckler or Bigsby with this next pick. I think I draft a lot of Eckler. So I'm going to go Bigsby. Switch it up a little. Get your exposure changed. Brianna in the TikTok chat, hello. All right, Terry, for half PPR, I mean, you're perfectly fine at quarterback with Baker. AJ Brown, touchdown upside. Terry McLaurin, touchdown upside. Love Bijan and Chase. That's absolutely filthy. Very high on Chase Brown right now. Bijan speaks for himself. Kraft is essentially touchdown dependent in my eyes, but I'm fine with him there. Jennings, good bench options. Kamara, I love in the flex. Jennings could fit into the flex there. Etienne, sure. Purdy, fine as a QB2. Pollard, really good on the bench at that deep into the bench. Reed and Pickens, I like. This is a great team. You have touchdown upside with all your wide receivers. Bijan and Chase Brown and Kamara. I mean, you're loaded at running back as well. With this Judkins domestic violence arrest, does Sampson's value increase? I mean, I think it theoretically does, but also, we've seen how some of these legal situations, work out in the NFL. This probably will have no effect on the coming season. It's going to be, it's a battery and domestic violence charge. So I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see how the legal situation plays out. That's what always happens. It's just too early to tell how much of an impact this is actually going to have on his potential season here. All right, targeting quarterback here at pick 177, Geno Smith or Sam Darnold. Going to need a tight end and two more wide receivers to wrap up the draft. Got a little shaky here mid-draft, but not too bad. Took the risk against Michael Penix, trying to get him to fall. That was a mistake. Geno Smith with Jacoby Myers or Sam Darnold with JSN. Can we get both players? I would take both at quarterback at this point in the draft, for sure. For sure. I don't really need 2 tight ends. I just want 2 tight ends. All right, I'll go Geno. See if Darnold falls. I don't know if... I mean, all these teams in front of us have 2 quarterbacks. I don't really feel like either team's going to be super incentivized to take Sam Darnold. I also can't take Sam Darnold. Because now I have Stafford and Geno, and they have week 8 bye weeks. So I'm going to have to go Russell Wilson late. Dang it. I would have liked a QB room of Stafford, Geno, and Darnold all stacked up. So I'm planning on taking a Rams wide receiver late, but now I don't know. All right, now we just got to fill by position. Man, Pat Freiermuth's ADP is absolutely tanked. I'll just take Mike Gesicki. See, and that's the only thing. Like, I'm fine with 2 tight ends, and in theory, I'm fine with just Andrews and Kincaid. But in best ball, I don't like having any 2 players with the same bye week. It's just too risky. I mean, wide receivers, running backs are one thing, but quarterbacks, tight ends, like, redraft, it's fine. You can figure it out in week 7. But best ball, it just doesn't work that way. I know some people will do it, but I don't personally. So Darnold does get selected to the team with just Burrow. I mean, that's a pretty decent pick there. This team also went 4 wide receivers to start. Only 2 teams that did. He goes CeeDee, Ladd, Terry, DJ Moore, also a solid start. All right, 2 more picks here, boys and girls. I got to take Russell Wilson with one of them. Hooray. And then going to go wide receiver with the other pick. So if I can get Tutu Atwell, I'd be happy. These are the things that best ball drafts make you say. Because then in theory, I have a Stafford connection. But yeah, not a bad little squad here. Stafford, Geno, Kamara, Monty, Pollard, Dobbins, Bigsby. Our upside is all at wide receiver. We drafted 4 in a row for a heavy wide receiver build. Neighbors, London, JSN, J-Mo, Jacoby Myers, Christian Kirk, Mark Andrews, Dalton Kincaid, Mike G, tight end. See what happens. Right now we're shooting for Russell Wilson and Tutu Atwell to wrap it up. I like Keenan Allen in this range. Just doesn't fit the build. We need Tutu Atwell. Tight ends are pretty dust here. I would still draft Pat Freiermuth in this range. I would. He's not going to be completely exiled from that offense. I think Noah Gray is a good bet, especially if you're betting against Travis Kelce this year. Gray had some good flashes last year. Running backs, take a shot on Jarquez Hunter, Brashard Smith. He just got selected. Give me Tutu. Also go Tutu because if Russell Wilson gets drafted, at least Jackson Dart is still an option. But I think Daniel Jones is fine if you need that late of a round of a quarterback. I also like Kareem Hunt. But you're looking at all handcuff, RB2, RB3 type situations, some of them theoretical. I do like Dontavian Wicks in this range, but I've drafted a lot of him as my final pick. I need to stop. Some people like Elijah Moore in this range. Alec Manor is interesting, as is Tyler Lockett. Could see wide receiver 2 value, so to speak. Maybe Amari Cooper is pretty gross out here, boys and girls. Yeah, tight ends, we already went over Freiermuth and Noah Gray. That's about it. All right, Russell Wilson is ours. Once again, the things that best ball drafts make you say. In 5 seconds, he's joining the roster. So pretty decent little squad here. Got a little hiccup in the middle, trying to push Michael Penix. I would have rather had Penix stacked with Lundo. Probably would have still finished. We would have had Geno Smith and Sam Darnold at QB, and we would have had more of a dart throw at tight end over Mike Gesicki. We probably wouldn't have Tutu Atwell. He ends up on the team because of Stafford. But that's okay. Stafford does have correlation here with Tutu. Geno Smith on the team with Myers. Russie Wilson with Neighbors. Not the greatest quarterback room, to no surprise. But Kamara, Monty Pollard, Dobbins, Bigsby at running back, Neighbors, Lundo, JSN, J-Mo, Jacoby Myers, Christian Kirk, Tutu Atwell, Mark Andrews, Dalton Kincaid. So a nice tight end room with Mike Gesicki as well. So there you have it, ladies and gents. So let's enter another one in the 22nd per pick lobby for Best Ball Mania. 9 spots available. Down to 7 spots, boys and girls. Hop into the draft with me. Let's do it. If you guys have any fantasy football questions, make sure you guys throw them in the chat. Let me know how you guys are doing. All right. Have a video dropping tomorrow as well. And going to continue another week of content for you guys. I need to wrap up the mock draft series. We've done a mock draft strategy video from the 1.1 through the 1.11 that are all live on YouTube. I need to get one out from the 112. And yeah, we'll be a little bit more aggressive in the next couple of weeks in terms of just the traditional YouTube videos that we do on the channel. So a few days ago, we had 5 running backs. I think we'll break the 2025 fantasy season. Tomorrow, we'll have 5 wide receivers and a couple other videos planned for the week, shorts, all that good stuff as the week progresses. All right, 3 spots open in the 22nd per pick lobby. Best Ball Mania. Let's do it. Unless, you know what, I'm going to leave. Let's do a Corgi instead. I don't know. That's going to fill slower. Apparently. I just want whatever's going to fill quicker. All right, so I guess it's Best Ball Mania. All right. 2 spots open. I'm back in Best Ball Mania. Terry's asking, first pick, half PPR. Who are you selecting? I'm leaning Bijan. Same question, but full PPR. Who are you selecting? I mean, once again, it just really comes down to, I would say, your overall draft strategy. If you would prefer to go wide receiver or running back to start, I think in half PPR, I'm perfectly happy going Bijan number 1 overall. And I do think at this point in time, Bijan is my RB1 going into next year. But I think in full PPR, I got to go Chase. And I know, like, traditionally, we don't see the wide receiver or running back 1 repeat at, you know, as RB1 or wide receiver 1 the following year. But, man, I just have a tough time in full PPR not going Chase. I'm okay going Bijan over JJ or Lamb, over Saquon, Gibbs. But, man, I don't know. Full PPR, I think the ceiling is just too high to not go Chase. It's Dan Pitcher back, an offensive coordinator. Same offense, same quarterback in Burrow, same bad defense. I just Yeah. I think I got to go chase in full PPR. But half PPR, yeah, I am perfectly okay with going Bijan. That's what you want to do. Like I said, I do think Bijan is going to end up being... I know I really don't do a lot of ranking videos. I'm thinking of putting together some ranking videos for you guys for the months of July and August. I mean, you guys know once the season's here, we do start-sit videos, every matchup, every player. I don't really do in-season rankings, but you never know. See what happens this year. All right, kicking it back off, wide receiver heavy from the 110. We just dropped from the 1-9. Now we move back a spot. I like this spot a little bit more, but with Neighbors in London was a really nice start last draft. I'm going to target BTJ or Collins with this first pick. But it's tough because you see Puka fall here. You can see Neighbors fall. You can see Amon-Ra there. It's tough. But Brian Thomas Jr. is on the thumbnail. Might have to draft a team with B-Tom tonight. It's also just tough to pass on Neighbors. I know we just drafted him, but I do like to switch up exposure as well. All right, there goes Neighbors. All right, I'll go Nico here. Small, and I mean small chance B-Tom makes it back. And yeah, he does not. Not even close. And once again, they're very good running backs here. Ashton Genty, Derrick Henry, Devon Achane. You know, beginning the second round picks here, they're all fine. But we're specifically going wide receiver heavy to start these drafts tonight. Last week we went RB heavy. AJ Brown or Lad McConkey? I'm going to go Lad McConkey, and I'm very high on AJ Brown. I'm going to go Lad McConkey based on the fact that we can get a later round quarterback stack in Herbert. Where if we go Jalen Hurts, we're taking him at pick 39. Herbie fully loaded as a much later ADP at 124.6. Stroud has an ADP of 134. Once again, talk about this a lot. You can map out those late round quarterback stacks. I would do so. You know, based on your early selections at wide receiver. All right, moving along here, we got picks 34 and 39. This is a little bit of a weird spot at wide receiver. Terry McLaurin, ADP of 32. JSN, ADP of 32.7. Mike Evans, 36.8. Ted McMillan, 40.6. DJ Moore, 42 overall. I would like to get Ted McMillan on a team. Once again, haven't been in position to draft Ted McMillan a lot on Underdog drafts. So if we can pick him at pick 39, I'll be happy. And I think we'll just take whoever falls to pick 34. Are good running backs here, but we're going 4 wide receivers to start no matter what. Terry says top 5 running backs: Bijan, Bucky, Barkley, A-Chain, CMC. Bucky at 2. I think Gibbs has to be in the top 5. I like the confidence on Bucky, though. A little high, but I like it. I do like JSN in this range. I'm going to have a tough time passing on JSN, but Devontae Adams would be good for the exposure. Once again, late round quarterback stack as well. All right, JSN it is. Fine with that. Thinking back to last draft when we did end up taking Stafford late, and I could have gone Adams over JSN. Actually would have been more beneficial because we didn't draft Sam Darnold if we had drafted Adams over JSN. But these things happen. I'm very happy with JSN right there. Nico, Ladd, JSN, great start. 2 drafts in a row with JSN, but I'm okay with it. All right, Ted McMillan is the target at pick 39. Then once again, we have 4 quarterbacks that we can take late for the stacks. Perfect. If it's not Ted, it's Mike Evans. Mike Evans or Ted McMillan with the next pick. And I don't know. Mike Evans kind of tough to pass on here. Oh, man. I just did not expect Evans to be here. I'm going Mike Evans. Too tough for me to pass on Evans right there. All that talk for Ted McMillan, but give me Mike Evans. Sometimes players are just there against their ADP. Yeah, now Tet's sliding a bit here as DJ Moore goes, Kyron, Jalen Hurts. There goes Tet at pick 43. Yeah, that was a tough one. But I also haven't drafted like a lot of Mike Evans. I don't know, I kind of felt like targeting Ted McMillan tonight in 2 drafts and then not ending up with him. Terry's top 5 wide receivers are Lamb, J.J. Collins, Neighbors, Garrett Wilson. Where's Chase? You got to have Chase in there. Waddle is your dark horse. Waddle is like my least favorite player in fantasy this year. Now, I do think Lamb could finish as a wide receiver 1. We're not that far removed from a wide receiver 1 season with CeeDee Lamb in which Dak Prescott was fully healthy. I don't hate that. JJ's fine. I'm high on Nico. I'm high on Neighbors. I do really, really like Garrett Wilson as well. I feel like Garrett Wilson last year is being a bit overlooked as he just came off his most productive season of his career, finishing as a wide receiver 10. But I don't know, man. That first round is... I think Brian Thomas Jr. could finish in front of all those guys. You really look at, Chase, J.J. Lamb, Puka, Neighbors, Nico, B-Tom, Amon-Ra, Lundo, Ladd, A.J. Brown. That run of wide receivers is so good right now. I really like T. Higgins. I like M.H. Jr. I really like JSN. I do like Garrett Wilson, though. I have spoke very highly about Garrett Wilson this offseason. Chase is number 6, so expecting a little bit of regression. Are you, Terry? All right, got to go running back at pick 58. Might end up with Kamara again, but I'll go Chuba if he's here. Which kind of makes me regret not going Ted McMillan. Give me a little Chuba. Why not? You guys confident with Chuba Hubbard as an RB1? Generally speaking, I'd probably prefer Kamara there. Looks like this team might go Olave Kamara. Kamara is a top available player, but this is an interesting bunch of players. It's an interesting point in drafts where ADP is a little bit out the window. Little bit. All right. I think that was an auto pick, which is always annoying, but Kamara's gone. Man, I might risk it for the biscuit and go Godwin with his next pick, and then Baker at pick 87. Wow, never mind. But you know who I do like here is Jordan Addison. Take a little bit of a hit at running back. Let's do it. I think Jordan Addison is a smash at this ADP. Yeah, Terry, I am just not high on Waddle this year. I feel like I've been burnt too often by Jalen Waddle. I've always been a Waddle guy, and last year's ADP was real caked up. Had 10 fantasy points per game last year through 15 games. Wide receiver 50 in fantasy points per game last year. Previous season, 14 games. Wide receiver 21 in fantasy points per game. Did have 14.2, which is not awful. He's gotten worse every single year the past 3 years in receiving touchdowns, as well as receiving yards, as well as receptions, as well as targets, as well as games played. Now, could bounce back. Positive regression could be due here. Do not get me wrong, especially if he has a fully healthy season and Tua Tagovailoa is fully healthy. I think most people who are high on Waddle at this point in the offseason, also are maybe low on Tyreek Hill or expecting the downfall of Tyreek Hill to happen. So maybe that's part of it. But yeah, I mean, Waddle's ADP is like Underdog is what pick. See him gone at the 5-7, pick 55 tonight. Then on Sleeper, he's at picks ADP of 68 or 65.8, excuse me. I'm just not quite there. And it's not awful. Random post. Is this a mock draft or what? This is a real draft. On Underdog Fantasy for the 2025 fantasy football season, we run subscriber mock drafts every Tuesday night on the channel through the Sleeper app. And then I do have some videos out for you guys that are mock draft strategies through Sleeper as well. The only two platforms that I use for the channel are Underdog and Sleeper. So this is a real draft, but it's a 3 wide receiver set best ball draft. A little bit different, but it does give you guys a really good idea of shifts in ADP as well as where players are being targeted. So we'll see. And for tonight's stream, we're doing heavy wide receiver teams as the title says. All right, got to go RB with these next 2 picks as we went for Addison with that last pick. Got to load up here a little bit. Probably try and go Pacheco with his next pick, then any one of Pollard, Aaron Jones, or Brian Robinson with pick 87. Don't think I'm going to go for the Baker stack. If I had gotten Godwin, then I would for sure. But don't think I'm going to do it because, once again, we look at the wide receivers on this team. Herbert with Ladd McConkey, Stroud with Nico Collins, Darnold with JSN, JJ McCarthy with Addison. We have plenty of potential to stack a little bit later in the draft around like picks. We'll see where we want to start doing it, but that's the thing. We might have to reach a little bit against ADP in a tough spot, but we'll figure it out. Figure it out. All right, I just went Pollard in the last draft, but I think he's the best available running back. If he gets selected here, then it's Aaron Jones. And Aaron Jones is super good super solid last year. You know what? I am going to switch it up in terms of exposure and go Aaron Jones. Yeah, he might lose some goal line work, whatever. But I also like Tajay Spears, who's available a little bit later. And that gives us the correlation, Aaron Jones with Jordan Addison. Terry's top 5 tight ends. Kittle, Laporta, McBride, Bowers, Ingram. Interesting. I don't hate this list. I do think that there's definitely a very realistic world where there's some regression due for Bowers and even McBride to a degree. I don't like either of their ADPs. I just don't like taking tight ends that early. Kittle, Kittle was with the tight end. He was a tight end 1.5 PPR, tight end 3 in full PPR. I could see Laporta also, like maybe the shift in offense here, maybe is beneficial for him. I do like Ingram a lot. I think in that kind of next range of tight ends, like Ingram, really like Hawkinson, Kelsey, Andrews, Ingram, and Njoku. It's really caked up to ADP, but Ingram and Njoku and Andrews, those are the guys I really target in that range. Yeah, I think Ingram could have a huge year. All right, so picks 106 and 111 here. All right, I got to keep an eye on Herbert. I think Herbert and Stroud are really the 2 quarterbacks I want. I can maybe get both at 130 and 135. QB's not being super aggro drafted yet, but it will be in the next couple rounds. We will see a shift in ADP. But the good news is that pick 106 can kind of do whatever I want. Wide receivers are thinning out, but luckily we are loaded up. Nico, Ladd McConkey, JSN, Mike Evans, Jordan Addison. Tough spot here. And I was really liking Najee Harris in this range, and now I just don't. Do you need a tight end at some point? Speaking of tight ends. So I'll go tight end with one of these 2 picks. We are going to need running back help at some point. I'm not blown away by the wide receivers here. I have a lot of Marvin Mims exposure. Rashad Bateman's the other guy I like here. I might end up going Baker, man. Baker's tough to pass. Tough to pass. We have Evans. But let's just stick with the strat. In honor of Terry, we'll go Evan Ingram. We just went Mark Andrews with the last draft. And I'm probably going running back at the turn here. Baker, tough to pass on there with having Mike Evans here. Really tough to pass on, but yeah, and there goes Baker. It's a good pick. He's just got a Mika Igbukba, but he's got Chris Godwin too. Yeah. It's a good pick. I mean, Baker's way against ADP here, which is good for kind of our strategy with what we want to do here at quarterback. So I'm going Charbonnet or Dobbins with this next pick. Once again, let's switch up exposure just slightly. Let's go Zach Charbonnet. Typically, it's Ben Dobbins in this range. But let's switch it up a little bit. You really want to make sure you guys are doing that in these best ball drafts. All right, Terry, top 5 QBs, Lamar, Baker, Moneymaker, Josh Allen, Mahomes, Burrow. I like it. Spicy. Yeah, do you think Mahomes will get back to kind of true form? I think he's one of the better values at quarterback. What about JD5? What about... Oh, wait. Lamar's 1. I was like, wait, what about Hurts? It's just tough, man. It's tough. I still don't see a world where Hurts is not in the top 5. I could see a world where JD5 falls back a bit, though. I'm saying that as a Washington fan. I like the confidence in Baker, though. All right, I really want to land Justin Herbert with this next pick. QB is starting to get washed up, which I told you guys would happen. I don't know that anyone's really going to be super incentivized to go Herbie here, though. He's the top available quarterback. If we don't get him, that's okay. We can get Stroud at pick 135. I don't think either team in front of us will go Stroud. One team's got JD5 and Baker. He's set. The other team's got Bo Nix. Possibility, but... And then I'd like to get Rachaad White as my RB5. It gives us hope. So I might just go single quarterback here. But the Stroud-Nico connection, hard to pass up on. I mean, there's a chance. Like I see Stroud fall in some drafts. But would he fall to pick 154? I don't think so. That's 20 picks against ADP. I mean, that's pretty aggressive. Man, Najee Harris really falling in ADP. There he goes. I was going to say, if he's there at 135, I will take him. I mean, we don't even know that Najee is going to miss any time this year. So I still think he's a good value at his given ADP. All right, into the 12th round we go. I think I'm going to pass on the Stroud. It's either Stroud and Nico, Rachaad White as our RB5. We take our tight end 2 and Dalton Kincaid or Dallas Goedert. All good picks here. All benefit the team greatly. But we're like kind of in a weird spot at running back. I think it's the weakest position here easily. So let's go Rachaad White. So we got Justin Herbert stacked with Ladd McConkey, Chuba Hubbard, Isaiah Pacheco, Aaron Jones, Zach Charbonnet, Rachaad White, Nico Collins, Ladd McConkey, JSN, Mike Evans, Jordan Addison. We are caked up at wide receiver. Good enough running back room, and Evan Ingram's the tight end 1 on the squad. So a lot of work to do, but a good, solid start. There goes C.J. Stroud. This was the only other team that I thought might take him with the Christian Kirk. And he's got Joe Mixon, too, so that makes a lot of sense. That's fine. I'm okay with it. We would have had to go back-to-back quarterback, which is fine, but it would have left... I mean, RB5, we'd be looking at Austin Eckler or Tank Bigsby, which is fine, but like we're a little bit weaker at running back here. And I kind of switched up exposure, like Chuba Hubbard over Alvin Kamara. Pacheco is pretty typical there. Aaron Jones over Tony Pollard. Charbonnet over J.K. Dobbins. So like these are all perfectly fine selections, but just not particularly the players that I personally go with in that range. Or those ranges, I should say. So maybe not feeling as confident, but it happens. Got to switch up your exposure. All right, so going into picks 154 and 159. Let's take a quick look here. I do want to try and draft Sam Darnold as my QB2 to get the stack. His ADP is week 8. Herbie's is week 12, so we're good there. Might just go 2 quarterbacks in this draft. I think I pick 154, though. Probably want to go best available wide receiver, if not tight end. Maybe go Jonnu Smith. Don't know how I feel about Pittsburgh's tight ends. Could go Austin Eckler. This could be a 6 RB team, but I think I'd rather wait a minute. I really like. I mean, I know we started with 5 5 wide receivers I'm very confident in, but we need wide receiver help still, and we're in a range where that's a problem. Wide receiver here is just it's not good. There goes Austin Eckler. Might just go QB here. Yeah, let's go Jonnu Smith and then best available wide receiver. Justin Herbert's going to hold down the fort here. There's 2 are Michael Penix. Like, I don't know. This team have Drake London. Yeah, I mean, good for him. He's done at QB. I thought Dobbs might fall. This team had no tight end, or just Kittle and Kincaid. Yes, he goes Pitts, so I don't know if Johnny Smith would have been there. And at least that gives us a late round selection if I did want to go with my boy Aaron Rodgers. But let's just go Tua. I think Tua can give us some spike weeks. He's got the same bye week as Herbert. So whatever. I think we can still easily land Sam Darnold at 178. If we don't, it's okay. We have 1 stack. Not every single quarterback has to be stacked. But now the only issue is we do want 1 more quarterback as we have the same bye weeks with Herbie and Tua. Johnny Smith, Tua Tagovailoa, back-to-back. No longer teammates. All right, so we're done at running back the way this draft has shaken out, unless like I wanted to go with Rico Dowdle. If he falls, sure. If Tank Bigsby falls, sure. But outside of that, we need to load up some late round wide receivers. We have picks 183. Yeah, honestly, I'm not drafting another running back either way. And we're done at tight end. I want 8 wide receivers on this squad. And we're already going to be taking some dart throws. That's okay. But yeah, like I don't know if anyone else is going to be incentivized to take Sam Darnold. But I feel like I said that last draft, and it happened anyways. Second draft in a row where we have JSN. This team's got JD5 and Baker. That's pretty good. I don't envision this team taking a fourth quarterback. Bo Nix, T-Law, Penix. Penix is stacked. The other two are not. No, T-Law is stacked too, yeah. So Nix is the value. That's pretty good quarterback room with those wide receivers. And he does get Pat Bryant here. I mean, yeah, all strategic there. Now, that would have been interesting if I just went Tua than Darren Waller, but I think that might be overthinking it. I don't know if I need to do all that. I will say I like Bigsby in this range. I think he's worth the dart throw. And he might be here. And then I'd be taking 2 aggressive dart throws at wide receiver. There goes Bigsby. Okay. Sometimes I'm glad when players I like get drafted. I do think Rico Dowdle could benefit this team, being that we have Chuba Hubbard. But yeah, let's just stick to the plan. Get the stack. Give me Sam Darnold. We need a quarterback who doesn't have a Week 12 bye week. And then let's just go best available wide receiver with this next pick. But who is that? Alec Pierce, Jalen Noel, Dewami Brown, D-Hop, Donta Thornton, Darius Slayton, Calvin Austin, Keenan Allen. It's pretty ugly. I don't think Keenan Allen will make it back to this team. So I might just go Keenan Allen. I think D-Hop's okay. Like, he's probably going to have, 3 solid games this year. Let's just go D-Hop. He's going to have, those 3 or 4 games where he does score a touchdown. He's still on a very good offense. There's a chance Keenan Allen's there at 202, but he's pretty popular in this range, so I'm not going to bank on it. Anyone on Miami, Seattle, or the Chargers? Let's look. Further the stack a little bit. I don't think so. I have a pretty high exposure to Dontavion Wicks, but I like him at the end of drafts. MVS kind of interesting with Darnold, but I don't know. We got 2 stacks. If anyone, it would be a Dolphins player, which there's nobody here. There's nobody. But I know this is that point in drafts where things get really interesting. So let's kind of sit back and then go best available wide receivers to wrap it up. All right, make sure you guys check out the video tomorrow on YouTube. Probably be back Monday with another video for you guys. Then Tuesday, we will have our subscriber live stream mock draft as well. All right, Keenan Allen is gone. Justin Herbert, Tua, Sam Darnold. We got Jay Herbert stacked with Ladd McConkey. Darnold stacked with JSM. Chuba Hubbard, Isaiah Pacheco, Aaron Jones, Charbonnet, Rashad White. Interesting running back room. Nico, Ladd, JSN, Mike Evans, Jordan Addison, aggro wide receiver build, D-Hop, Evan Ingram, and Jonnu Smith. Not too bad. I never really have issues when I do go with wide receiver heavy teams. I do like Calvin Austin in this spot. I do think he's a clear cut. Okay, there goes Calvin. Aaron Rodgers, Calvin Austin, an interesting end of draft stack. Always want to be hunting for those end of draft stacks. Maybe go Nick Chubb here. Go with a 7 wide receiver set. It could work with this team. We do kind of need help at running back. Let's just go Chubb. Gosh, he's been so bad the last 2 years. I mean, we know why. No disrespect. I saw the stats flash. So I was like, oh, gosh. All right, dart throw, wide receiver in the 18th round. Malik Washington. No, I was kidding. Do have Tua. It could work. I was not expecting to go Nick Chubb there, but it happened. Maybe go Jalen Coker for the Coke kids. I do like Alec A. Manor. Troy Franklin's interesting. Deontay Johnson, I mean, is his career really over? Probably. Maybe not. Who knows? Let's just take a dart throw on a rookie and go Alec A. Manor. Interesting build here. But at least we know we have 5 stud wide receivers. Good tight end room. Running backs will do. And we have 2 quarterbacks stacked who will do. All right, ladies and gents, that's going to do it for tonight's stream. 2 drafts done for you guys. It's getting late. So we will be back next Saturday night for another Underdog live stream. Tuesday night, subscriber mock draft will be live Tuesday night as well. And like I said, just check out the videos throughout the week. And we will be back with plenty of content as the week continues to progress and as we get closer to the month of August. So thank you guys for hanging out tonight. Thank you guys for talking some fantasy and drafting with me. And that'll do it for tonight's live stream. So with that, I'll say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on the catch.